Okay, so one of the things we wanted to touch on today was for novices or maybe the people entering the sport of kayak fishing. One of the questions that gets thrown around is, what do I buy? You know, do I buy a new kayak? Do I buy a second kayak? Naturally, the first thing you've got to say is, what's my budget? You know, how much money do you have to spend? And from there, you've got to make a few decisions. So one of the decisions and sort of one of the trends that we tend to find is, you know, guys will say, oh, well, I'm starting out, I'll just go out and I'll buy a kayak and I'll go fishing. But please do your research. Make sure that the kayak that you choose or the kayak that you're looking at is actually suitable for you. You know, with Stealth, obviously there's a range of kayaks suitable for all types of different people. So you can have a look across the range and make a decision on choosing a kayak. Whether it be a second-hand kayak or a new kayak, the same, you know, applies. So it makes no harm to contact the, you know, manufacturer of the kayak and say to the guys, hey guys, I'm looking to get into the sport. This is the kayak I'm looking at. Will it suit me? You know, the guys will give you a simple yes or no. A kayak doesn't suit everybody. Yes, you can have a kayak that in some ways suits most people, but if you're getting into a sport, all I'm saying is maybe just try and find something that you know is suitable for you or ticks a few of your boxes, you know, or where you're launching, what kind of fishing you're doing, and how far you're paddling when you want to fish. All these things you've got to think about. So look at those questions and then say, right, you know, this kayak suits me, this kayak doesn't suit me. And then, you know, the age-old question of what's the right price to pay for a kayak. So when you're looking for a second-hand kayak, let's say you've found the one that's, you know, quite suitable for yourself. How much is it? Once again, do a bit of research and see what should be the going price for that. You know, recently I've seen a lot of guys trying to sell second-hand kayaks that are like 10, 15 years old for quite stupid amounts of money. Fortunately, when you buy a Stealth, it does retain a very, very high resale value. However, as well as that, you get some people who try, you know, to, excuse me for saying this, but take the piss out of it. So you get a guy who's got a kayak that's probably worth 3 or 4 grand, and then he's trying to sell it privately for 6 or 7,000 rand because he says that's what it's worth. Well, do your research, you'll find. Also, just contact us or contact the dealer and say, you know, I found this, what do you think the value is? And the guys we're pretty much on the ball, we can tell you what goes. You know, we do buy and sell a lot of second-hand kayaks, so we have a very good idea of what's going on in the market. Then the other thing to remember is that when looking for a second-hand kayak, when you find something like, you know, not just because we manufacture them, but if you find a Stealth, the Stealth has a very high resale value. It retains a resale value good. So let's say you got kayak A and kayak B. Kayak A might be worth 10,000, but when you try and sell it second-hand, it's only worth 5. Kayak B might be worth, you know, 10 or might be worth 15,000, but second-hand it sells for 12. You know, that's where I'm saying, that's where a kayak holds a higher resale value. So depending on your affordability, you can say, hey, you know, maybe I'll stretch my budget a couple of grand, but I know that this kayak in 2 years' time is probably going to sell for the exact same amount of money that I'm paying for it. Equally, if you find a Stealth and you're looking to upgrade at a later stage, we offer a value-added service where we will trade your kayak up for you. So you've bought a good second-hand kayak for 12 grand, or 12,000 rand, okay? And you've enjoyed it for the last 6 months. Now you're going to go, right, you know, now I think I'm ready for a new one. I've done a little bit more research and I've got a much better idea on what I want. That's when the value of a really good resale kayak comes in. You bring it into us, we look at it and say, hey, we'll give you 12 grand back for it. You go, hey, but I only paid 12 grand 2 years ago. There's your answer. Those kind of kayaks are the ones you want, because when you're getting into the sport, you might spend a little bit more to get into it, but you're not actually losing if you either sell it because you don't enjoy the sport, or if you do enjoy the sport and you want to upgrade to a better model, you're not going to be losing a lot of money on it. So that's where I say watch the resale of a value of the kayak and try and make sure that with a little bit of research, you're looking after yourself. So, I mean, you can find anything anything out there on the internet, and older kayaks and, you know, demo kayaks and everything, but you'll always get a good idea of whether it's overpriced or correctly priced, or whether you're going to lose some money or not. Like I was saying, we do a lot of trade-ins, so I'll give you a perfect example. We've got a couple of customers who will buy a new kayak every year to 18 months. Let's say they buy top of the range pro fisher, all the bells and whistles. Let's say that whole thing costs him 20,000 Rand. It doesn't, but let's say it does. So that 20, a year later he comes in and says, hey bud, I'm ready to upgrade. Well, we'll transfer his fish finder, we'll transfer all his bits and pieces. And I can almost certainly say sitting here now that he'll probably get about 16,000 Rand for a trade-in or 15,000 Rand for a trade-in on a 1-year-old kayak. That pays in a couple of grand, he's got a brand new one. Then you find a kayak that doesn't really have a resale value. You go out the showroom door, you pay 15 grand for it, you go out the showroom door, bang, it's worth 7 or 8 grand already. So that's where I said, just be careful. So you did just a little bit of research, a little bit of interest, and then we go. The two things. So we'll summarize with saying, number one, just do a little bit of research and make sure that the second-hand kayak is suitable for you. Your friend James's kayak may not be suitable for you, but there are kayaks that are suitable to you. So look around and do a bit of research. Naturally, if he's selling it, he might try and sell it to you as quickly as possible, but the older kayaks where they don't have adjustable foot lengths, for example, they're very difficult to sell and don't have a good resale value because you have to find a person the same height as you that works in the kayak. Whereas the newer models have an adjustable foot system, you can adjust it and it can suit your height. So there's just a little bit of money there, there's your resale value slightly higher and it's obviously easier for you to sell because you can sell it for 10, 15 people. So as the market stands now, especially in South Africa, you can buy bottom of the range, pretty tired kayak, probably been used for 15 years, still floats, still works, get into the market. The crazy thing about it is if you use it for a year, you probably sell it for the same amount of money that you bought. You can buy a 2-year-old kayak, look after it, sell it in a year, and you'll still sell it, I'm talking stealth now, still sell it for the same amount of money that you paid for it. So that's where when you're entering the second-hand market is making sure you look after yourself going forward, and obviously if you want to change or if you don't enjoy the sport, as we touched on before. Okay, so these days you get guys who have a 2-year-old kayak and want the latest with the live well and everything, and they go, oh, you know, I thought my ski was worth a little bit more money. But sometimes it's not about what you think it's worth, but it's how much it's been looked after. You know, did you keep out of the sun? Is it nice? You know, have you looked? Does it have a couple of dings and scratches? Like those are the kind of things that determine the value of a second-hand kayak. When you're looking at it and you're going to choose it, the beauty of a fiberglass kayak is you can actually see whether it's had work done on it. You can 9 times out of 10 see a repair or see some maintenance on scratches and dings and dents, and that obviously tells you what's going on. So just have a good look, or once over when you're looking at a second-hand kayak. Get a good feel for it, look inside. One of the other good factors to look at is the fish hatch. If you open the lid and you look at the fish hatch, you can see how much a guy's really used a kayak, you know. Guy that's hardly fished or hardly caught any fish, you'll see the hatch is quite neat and clean. Gives you a good idea of how much the work the kayak's done. And then other little things, you know, things like your handles and the straps. The really older kayaks, the handles will be quite faded or quite tatty. So you can look at those kind of things and get a good idea on how old the kayak or how much it's been used. We obviously have a fairly good idea of how old the kayak is just by I can look at the stickers, or I can look at a serial number, or I can look at things and I can give you a ballpark figure of how old the kayak is. So you can use that to your advantage. Take the serial number down, contact us, or take a photo of it, contact us. We can give you an idea of what we say the kayak should be worth, and you can take it from there. So yeah, that's pretty much the basics of what to do when you're looking for a second-hand kayak. Is just take a little bit more time. Don't rush into it. Do a little bit of research. Ask the questions to the right people. Most importantly, remember the resale value of a kayak. You know, in anything, even sometimes new kayaks might be cheaper, more affordable. But if they don't have a good resale value, you're not doing yourself any favors going forward. So you can find kayak A and buy it, and its resale value is terrible, and then you're stuck. Either you can't sell it because nobody else wants them secondhand, or when you want to change or upgrade or buy something that you say may be more suited to you, you obviously have lost a lot of money. So like in any sport, do a little bit of research, ask a few questions, you know, look around, second-hand pricing, rough pricing, search the net a bit, ask a few friends, contact the dealers, and you'll get a good idea of the value or what you should be paying for that kayak. Whether it comes with extras or not is irrelevant, but the kayak itself often determines what the kayak's worth. just to touch on one thing is, don't get caught out with second-hand electronics. Just because it has a fish finder doesn't mean the kayak is worth any more money. The problem is on a kayak, fishing kayak, it's very hard to look after a fish finder, and 9 times out of 10 we've always found a second-hand finder will break within the first month. And then you've got to go and spend the money on a brand new one anyway, but you've already paid money for a second-hand one. So unless that fish finder is still in a warranty, you're not really going to fetch too much more on the price just because it has a fish finder, unless you can see that fish finder has been looked after really well. So just make a note of that when you're looking as well, and don't get caught with, look at all the extras it's got. Unless those extras are actually worth something, sometimes it's better to say no thanks and just pay a price on the kayak itself. I think that's pretty much most of the things. As I said, if you have any questions or anything, don't be afraid to contact us or to send us an email. We can give you a better idea of what it may be worth.